This $1,000 watch does 90% of what my $5,000 watch does. I'm Mike from the Watch Bros, and today I'm showing you all 20 plus watches in my collection, but not just in some random order. We're actually gonna go by value, not just price, but value. Because here's what I've learned after spending way too much money on watches. Expensive doesn't always mean better. Cheap doesn't always mean compromise. And the sweet spot, it's different for everyone. So whether you have $200 or $20,000 to spend, I'm gonna show you exactly what you get at every tier. The good purchases, the regrets, the watches that genuinely changed how I think about collecting. And at the end, I'm picking one watch from this entire collection as my desert island piece, the one that checks every box. I've made expensive mistakes, I'm talking $16,000 mistakes, and I'm gonna show you exactly where I went wrong. My collecting philosophy has completely changed over the past 2 years. You're gonna see that evolution play out watch by watch. Let's start at the bottom, the budget bankers. Starting with the watch that proves collecting isn't about following rules. Mr. Jones watches, the Mispose, $295. Hand assembled dial, screen printed artwork, quartz movement, and a design philosophy that says, screw being serious, let's make art that tells time. I bought this at full retail, which I almost never do, but sometimes you see something so weird in all the right ways that you have to do it. This watch is liberating. When I wear it, I'm not worried about scratching. I'm not checking accuracy against my phone. I'm not wondering if people get it. It's just fun, pure, uncomplicated fun. And after years of watches that I've taken too seriously, I needed this reminder. Do I wear this weekly? No. But when I do wear it, it starts conversations. People either love it or they're confused by it, and I'm good with either reaction. If you're starting out and you're sick of seeing the same boring Seikos at every affordable watches list, and if you're at the luxury tier, you need a watch like this. Something that just reminds you of why you fell in love with the hobby in the first place. This isn't going anywhere. It's a keeper. American brand with Swiss guts that punches way above its weight class. The Walden Heritage Professional. I've got the green dial here in the white variant. It's a Swiss automatic movement, $299 retail. I grabbed it for about $199. I bought this because I wanted to test a theory. Can a small American brand deliver Swiss quality at entry-level pricing? The answer shocked me. The finishing on this case is cleaner than watches I've owned at $1,200, and the green dial is refined. It's not gaudy. The proportions are absolutely perfect. Walden isn't trying to be Rolex. They're not copying a vintage Omega. They're just doing their own thing with actual quality, and that's rare at any price point. This watch represents proof that value exists outside the usual suspects. It's not just big Swiss houses. It's not hyped micro brands with 50,000 Instagram followers. It's just a well-executed watch from people who actually care about the craft. If you're shopping in that $300 to $500 range and looking for a Tissot or Hamilton, put this on your radar. It completely, directly competes with those, and it often wins on finishing. For strategic collectors, this is what smart value looks like, not chasing brands, finding quality wherever it exists. It's a keeper. Swatch Clearly New Gent, $95. Transparent case, Swiss made, zero pretense. This is Swatch doing what they do best. Fun, affordable, clearly unpretentious. It's a style piece. You wear it because it looks cool, not because of specs. And that's completely valid. I don't wear it much, but it stays in my collection as that's proof that the utility doesn't require luxury. It's the ultimate beater watch. Beat it up, it doesn't care. This one's definitely a keeper for me. All right, quick value reality check before we continue. I just showed you 4 watches totaling sub $600. That's less than most entry-level Swiss watches. But here's what they taught me. At the budget level, personality matters more than brand names. Don't buy boring watches just because they're respectable. Buy watches that make you feel something. Next up, the watch that proves limited editions can be amazing or a trap. The bronze case, left-handed crown, Pi-Pi's arm as the watch hands. This watch collecting is the most unhinged. Undone and Pi-Pi and Friends Destro limited edition. $480, only 250 pieces made, 40mm bronze case, and an automatic movement. This right here, total impulse buy. I saw it, I loved the cartoon growing up, I bought it. This watch represents an emotional buying phase I'm trying to get past. It's fun, it's unique, the bronze will patina, totally different in 5 years, but 2 wears in 3 years tells me this lesson. Uniqueness doesn't equal value if you don't wear it. Left-handed crown's fun, but it's impractical for me. 15mm thick makes this girl chunky. It's more of a display piece than a tool. This is where that limited edition marketing gets you. 250 pieces sounds exclusive until you realize you never wear it. Lesson learned, Limited edition doesn't always mean essential. All right, what did they teach me? 1, personality beats prestige at this level, always, always, always. 2, Swiss quality exists under $300 if you know where to look. And then 3, impulse purchases feel good, but it only lasts for a couple weeks. Then reality sets in, and we all know what happens there. Now we're gonna jump to the sweet spot, the 500 to 2000 range. This is where most collectors make their biggest mistakes. Retro design, salmon dial, automatic movement. This is the fun tier watch. Bought this one secondary around $550. I bought this because I wanted something different in my rotation, not another dive watch, not another field watch. And Brew makes that look like a vintage automatic gauges. It's weird, but it works. At this price point, you can afford to take design risk, and this was one that paid off. The salmon dial gets compliments from watch people and regular people as well. It's occasional wear. It's a mood watch when I want something fun and different, no longer made, which makes it a little special. It wears well, it runs accurate. This is what happens when you save past the 300 level. You get access to watches that actually have personality and quality. Mid-tier is where design experimentation happens. Don't just buy safe pieces. Find what makes your collection yours. This one for me is a keeper. The watch that proves Seiko's modern lineup is underrated. If you know where to hunt, Seiko Alpinist, Cream Dial, Alpinist, but it's the Alpinist, Cream Dial, $725 retail, 200 meters water resistance, 70 hours power reserve, and a sapphire crystal. I found a dealer doing a 2-for-1 deal, this Cream Dial, and I got a green dial as well, 1,000 for both. That's 500 each for a watch that retails at 750 and competes with pieces at 1,200. This is what smart buying looks like. Patience, secondary market, knowing when to jump. This watch taught me that retail pricing is negotiable, especially with Seiko. And nobody's flexing it on Instagram. That's exactly what I want. Regular rotation, the 70-hour power reserve means I can set it down Friday and it's still running on Monday. It wears great on a leather strap, comfortable, reliable, everything a daily watch should be. A UV reactive dive watch inspired by 90s nostalgia. This is where limited edition actually means something. Zodiac and Warner Wound collaboration. $15.95 retail, 200 meters water resistance, Swiss made, UV reactive dial, case and strap. I bought this one at retail because sometimes you see a design so specific, so targeted to a vibe, you know it won't exist again. When I wear this, it's a conversation piece. The UV reactivity is a party trick. The 90s aesthetics either resonates or they don't. For me, they do. This one for me is a keeper. The design is unique enough that I won't regret it. The GMT gives you a 90% of Tudor Black Bay's GMT's functionality with 25% of the price. Squally 50 Atmos GMT. Swiss made, 200 meters water resistance. Also have the bronze variant. It's not a GMT, but I threw it up here because I thought it looked good. This was a strategic purchase. I wanted a GMT function. I didn't want to wait on Tudor's wait list or spend $4,200. Squally has been making dive watches since 1946, I believe. They supply cases to other brands and the quality's there. So I paid $750 for a proven Swiss reliability and got exactly what I needed. This watch represents smart compromise. Is the Tudor better? Sure, but better movement, better brand recognition, better bracelet. But is it $3,500 better? Not for me. This is the exact watch you should buy when you want a complication but don't want to pay a luxury tax. You get the function without the flex. Before you spend $4,000 on a Tudor, spend $750 on this. If the GMT function becomes essential to you, upgrade later. If it doesn't, then you just saved $3,500. Here's where things get interesting. I've shown you watches from $40 to $1,600, and here's the pattern. The jumps in quality aren't linear. Going from $40 to $500, massive jump. Going from $500 to $1,500, smaller than you'd think. That's the mid-tier trap everyone falls into, including me. You assume spending 3 times more gets you 3 times the watch. It doesn't. Sometimes you get 20% more watch and 80% more brand name. Speaking of which, next up is watches that prove heritage and value can coexist. This is the watch that made me rethink what's possible at the $1,300 price point and why most collectors sleep on Mido. The Mido Ocean Star Compression Diver 1961 limited edition. I've got it in the blue, also have it in the black variant. 80 hour power reserve, 200-meter water resistance, vintage-inspired super compressor design. This was a revelation purchase. I bought this after getting tired of seeing the same Oris, Tudor, Longines recommendations in 1 to 2,000 range. Mido is part of the Swatch group, and they have access to the same movements as Omega, but they don't have the brand hype, so prices stay reasonable. This particular model, it's a heritage design that nobody else does. Super compressor case, unique internal rotating bezel, design that stands out without screaming. The 80-hour power reserve is longer than my Rolex. Let that sink in. This watch represents what I'm calling the heritage sweet spot. If you're at luxury level, compare this to Longines Legend Diver at that 3,000 to 5,000 range. The Longines has more prestige, yes. This has better specs and cost half. It's a keeper for me, no question. This arguably is the best value watch in my entire collection. I'll tell everyone about this watch. And here's where I start making some controversial calls, because once you're spending 2,000 plus, the question isn't, is this a good watch? The question is this a good watch for me? The watch where I learned the difference between paying for specs and paying for feel. The Oris Diver 65 with bronze bezel. Purchased this one for well under retail from a gray market dealer. It's got a Solita movement. Here's the truth. On paper, this watch is worse than the Mido I just showed you. The Mido has an 80-hour power reserve. This has 38 hours. The Mido is $1,300, and I paid around $1,000 on this one with the discount. Retail is much higher. Because the fit, finish, and feel are in a different league, the case finishing is noticeably better. The dome sapphire crystal is expensive to produce and gorgeous. The bronze bezel patinas and becomes your watch. You're not just paying for better specs, you're paying for better execution. This taught me a hard lesson about watch collecting. Sometimes you buy a watch because the spreadsheet says it's a good value. Sometimes you buy a watch because it makes you feel good. This is the latter, and it's okay as long as you're honest about what you're paying for. Slim case wears beautifully, the proportions are perfect, it's comfortable all day, but that short power reserve means that if I don't wear it for 2 days, it stops. That's super annoying to me, and this is where collecting gets personal. The specs say pass, the heart says buy. Neither answer's wrong, but know which one you're following. This one for me is a keeper, but barely. If you're a spec sheet person, you'll hate that I kept it. If you're how does this make you feel person, you're gonna get it. Limited edition German pilot chronographs that sold out instantly and taught me the difference between hype and value. The Zen 103 SABE limited edition blue dial, only 500 pieces made in 2018. It's got a 775 movement, high domed sapphire crystal, 200 meters water resistance. This one's impossible to find at retail. I got it under retail from someone who regretted the purchase. Zen makes tool watches for German pilots and special forces. They're serious, no nonsense, pure German engineering. This blue dial variant, it's one of the most beautiful chronographs they've ever made, and it's sold out in hours. I bought these because I wanted to understand the hype, and you know what? I get it. The finishing's perfect, the movements are bulletproof, the designs are unique. But here's the reality check. They have 42-hour power reserves. My $500 Seiko has a 70-hour power reserve. My $1,300 Mido has an 80-hour. So I'm paying for specs? No. I'm paying for Zen's reputation, the limited edition exclusivity, those specific dials, the heart purchase, not a head purchase. This is where you decide, are you collecting for specs or for story? Both are valid, but don't lie to yourself about which one you're doing. Limited editions at this tier hold value better than mass-produced pieces. That's worth considering if resale matters to you. Lessons learned here. 2 limited editions of the same watch don't make sense in one collection. Don't make my mistake. The luxury brand watch that taught me about depreciation and the cost of a logo, the Breitling Super Ocean. Cost certified chronometer, 38-hour power reserve, exceptional finishing. Here's the Breitling value proposition. You're buying a top tier luxury brand with famous history. The quality is there. Cost certification means higher accuracy than the non-chronometer watches. The finishing, it's noticeably better than mid-tier brands. The bezel action is perfection, but the power reserve's short. The movement is reliable, but it's not special, and these watches depreciate hard. I paid under retail, but even then, I'm debating if it was the right call. This taught me that luxury tax lesson. You're paying for $5,000 to $8,000 for quality that exists at a $2,000 in other brands, plus the Breitling name. That's the trade. Sometimes it's worth it for the prestige. Sometimes it's not. For me, I'm still figuring it out. Solid watch, it wears well, looks great, does everything it should, but knowing it lost value the moment I bought it, that stings a little bit. Never buy luxury at retail, ever. Gray market, pre-owned, dealer connections, exhaust every option before paying full price. For this one, at $4,800, love's required, and I don't love it. Speaking of which, the hardest watch to justify value on, and the one I still don't regret buying, is this Tag Heuer Formula 1 Solargraph. Solargraph powered, quartz movement, basically Swiss certified eco drive. This specific colorway sold out and sells for over retail in the secondary. Real talk, this is terrible value. The Citizen Eco Drive technology is available for $200. Tag Heuer slapped their logo on it and charged $19.50. You're paying $17.50 for branding, and that's it. But you know what? I don't care. I wanted the 90s vibe tag. I wanted a solar powered so I never have to wind it or change batteries. I wanted this specific colorway, so I bought it for personal enjoyment, not for investment, not for value, not for logic, and I'm okay with that. This watch is proof that sometimes you can buy what makes you happy, even when the spreadsheet says this is a dumb purchase. But watches like this remind me why I started collecting, because they're cool and I like them. Sometimes that's enough. If you want it and you can afford it, buy it. Just be honest about what you're paying for. This one for me is a keeper. It's a bad value. It's got good vibes. I enjoy it, and that's all really honestly that matters. The watch that makes me question everything I thought I knew about value, because it's expensive, it's Tag, and it's the best watch I own. $67.50 retail. I paid about 25% under. In-house caliber Heuer O2 movement with 80-hour power reserves. The column wheel chronograph, exhibition case back. It's got heritage design from 1960s. This was a turning point purchase. Tag Heuer has a reputation problem. Some people think they're entry-level luxury. Some people think they're overpriced. But this watch, this specific tag, is their absolute best. The movement is in-house, it's not outsourced. 80-hour power reserve crushes the 40-hour standards. Column wheel chronograph is smooth as butter. The design is heritage without being a lazy reissue. And it's one of the most celebrated tag releases in years. Watch enthusiasts, the ones who usually mock Tag, universally praise this watch. If I could only keep one piece from my collection, this would be it. Why? Because it does everything. It's dressy enough for formal occasions, it's sporty enough for weekends, it's interesting enough to talk about, it's reliable enough to trust, sizing's perfect, versatility's unmatched, and every time I wear it, I'm glad I bought it. That's rare, especially at this price point. This gets the most wrist time of any watch that I own, over $3,000. That tells you everything, that it's not just a safe queen, it's not just a special occasion watch, it's a daily driver that happens to be expensive. All right, the Breitling Norton collaboration, an in-house BO1 movement, $6,500 purchase price, bought it under retail. This was a gift from my wife, and that changes everything. On paper, that's not a great value. Co-branded pieces depreciate super hard, but my wife gave it to me, and that makes it priceless. This taught me that sentimental value is real value. Value isn't always about money. Sometimes a $6,500 watch that depreciates to $4,000 is worth more than a $10,000 watch that holds its value. Context actually matters. Tudor Black Bay Chrono Panda Dial, $6,500 retail. I bought it around retail during the hype period. I bought this during peak Daytona hype. Everyone wanted a Rolex Daytona and nobody could get one, so Tudor released this. The specs are incredible. The movement's the same as the Breitling BO1. The quality's undeniable, but here's the problem. I bought it to scratch a Daytona itch, not because I genuinely wanted this watch. And you know what happens when you buy a substitute watch instead of the real thing you want. It doesn't satisfy. It just reminds you of what you actually wanted. This is the most expensive mistake in my collection, not because it's a bad watch, it's exceptional, but because I bought it for the wrong reason. Now it's going up for sale because I learned a lesson. Save for what you really want or be happy with what you buy. Don't do half measures at this price point. Breitling co-branded pieces depreciate, knowing that going in, but if you love it and it means something to you, buy it anyways. Life's too short to only buy smart watches. Tudor, Never buy a substitute watch. If you want a Daytona, save for a Daytona. Buying close enough at a 5,000 plus price range is a huge mistake. The Tudor doesn't hold value. The Breitling was a gift. The Tag Skipper is my favorite. Logic doesn't apply cleanly here. This is where personal preference, sentimental value, and pure emotion take over. And that's okay as long as you're honest about it. Own your choices. I'm learning here too. Now, let's finish with the Rolexes on my final collection reflection. Rolex Yachtmaster 40mm with 950 platinum bezel, $6,800 purchase price. Real talk, when I bought this, I was making decisions with my heart, not my head. I wanted a Rolex, I wanted platinum, I wanted something special that wasn't just another Submariner. This quality is exceptional, but here's the truth. I bought it because I wanted to own a Rolex, not because it was a strategic sense for my financial situation at the time. This watch represents a moment in my life, not the smartest moment, but a real one. And you know what? I don't regret it. The Rolex Submariner Hulk green dial, green bezel, it's a discontinued model, purchased for $16,000 on the secondary market. Let that number land with you. This was peak FOMO. The Hulk was discontinued, prices were skyrocketing. Everyone said, buy it now or miss out forever. So I paid $16K for a watch that retailed for $9,500 originally. Was it worth it? From an investment standpoint, maybe. The prices have held relatively steady since COVID bubble. But here's the real questions. Is there any watch worth 2 times retail? If I'm honest, no. I bought into scarcity marketing. I bought into hype. I convinced myself this was smart because it would hold value, but I spent $16,000. That's a cost. And for that money, I could have bought 3 incredible watches instead of 1 hyped Rolex. The Hulk is objectively a great watch. The quality's there. The design is iconic. It wears perfectly. But every time I wear it, I think about $16,000 that I paid for it, and I wonder if I made the right call. That's the problem with buying at peak hype. Even if it holds value, you're always wondering, what if I waited? Wait for the market to cool, buy pre-owned, be patient, hype fades, and you'll regret overpaying forever. The Yachtmaster, keeper for now. Its sentimental attachment strong, the value's solid. The Hulk, it's a keeper for now, it holds its value. But if I could do it again, I'd wait for prices to come down or I'd skip it entirely. The Rolex GMT Master 2 Batgirl. I got it at retail through an AD relationship. Patience paid off. This was a success story. The benchmark travel GMT functions as a parking space for cash. This one's a keeper. Most worn GMT, and I can get my money back if I need it. The Tudor Black Bay Harrods Editions, cost certified, 70-hour reserve, and green bezel. It's a store exclusive. It often depreciates once the hype fades. Lesson learned here, it's not a keeper. I'm gonna have to let this one go. Rolex Datejust 41 mint dial, highly sought after color, but the 41mm case, it feels big on my wrist. I keep thinking I would love this at 39mm. That doubt means this one might not stick around long term. I wear it weekly, but I'm not in love with it. 20 plus watches, $40 to $16,000. Impulse buys to strategic purchases. Keepers to regrets. And here's the pattern that I've learned. The best watches aren't always the most expensive. The worst purchases weren't always the cheapest. Value is personal. Strategy is learned, and regret comes from buying what you think you should want instead of what you actually want. My collecting philosophy has completely changed. It used to be 100% emotional. Buy what makes me feel something in the moment. Now it's shifting towards strategic. Does this make sense? Will I wear it? Does it fill a gap? I'm not abandoning emotion entirely, but I'm adding logic to it. That's growth. Next purchase, I'm looking for something that balances my collection. Probably something in the dress watch category, but here's the key. I'm buying to keep now, not to try. No more, maybe will this work purchases. I'm not chasing grails anymore. I'm more interested in refining what I have than chasing the next big thing. Here's my question for you. What tier surprised you the most? The budget bangers that punch above their weight, the mid-tier value plays, or the luxury tier where I'm making some questionable decisions? Drop a comment below. I read every single one, and I genuinely want to hear your take on my collection choices. If you found value in this transparency, if seeing someone's actual collection with real purchases, real regrets, and real lessons resonated with you, hit that subscribe button. We're building a community of strategic collectors who value honesty over hype. And seriously, thanks for sticking around. That says something about you as a collector. Wear your watches in good health.